I've got the great privilege of heading up convocations this year, and I'd like to welcome everyone, especially those students who are signed up for the convocation class. Today we begin the 30th anniversary of convocations with our faculty distinguished lecture program, and we're privileged to have Dr. Kevin Stein with us talking about many of the public apologies that you all have witnessed. Just a couple of program notes. So it's applicable that we tell you to silence your cell phones, but I also want to encourage all of you to tweet during this convocation, simply because I'm looking at the audience and I've got a few more seats that I could fill. And as visual learners, as Kevin will talk about, you've got an extraordinary power as students to encourage others to come to convocations and to encourage your own life of the mind. You know, it occurs to me that the convocation experience shouldn't end when you're a freshman and when you're just required to take the class. It should continue throughout your education, and it's a very important part of the experiential education requirement that we're trying to champion here at SUU. So if you want to tweet, or if you want to follow us on Facebook and the like, please do so. The tweet is at SUU Convocations. And without any further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Kevin Stein.
You'll have to forgive Mr. Grant for referring to it as twittering each other. I don't think he knows that we tweet. We don't Twitter, but it's weird not to be able to see your faces, but as long as you can see me, okay. I don't know if you had a chance to see the wide variety of clips that I played for you in the montage there, but I don't know what it is about myself. Maybe it's a character flaw or something like that, but I really enjoy watching people make egregious errors and seeing them try to squirm out of it. There's something really interesting to me, I don't know why, about Anthony Weiner standing up there saying, "I'm here to formally announce my resignation," and have people yell out, "Bye-bye, pervert." There's just something, there's just something great about that, you know, that I can't really explain. I tend to have to go look in the public sphere to find my examples of good apologies because, as you all know, my students never make mistakes. You know, they don't have computers that crash and prevent them from turning things in. They don't have funerals that they have to attend to where, of course, the name of the person that died is somebody with a different last name from them, so they can't document it. Because they don't make mistakes, I have to go into the public sphere and find some of these apologies. And this has become a long line of research for me that I really enjoy. I like studying persuasive defense and how people fix their images after they've done some wrongdoing that harms their reputation. Okay, but before I begin, I'd like to thank just a couple of people, and usually this is just a formality. You feel like people don't mean it, they're just giving out their thank yous, but really, I'd like to thank my co-author, Dr. Matt Barton, he's my collaborator on this project. Go Matt, Dr. Barton. I have a handful of graduate students that I've worked closely with, Julia Fulmer, Mike Alt, Mike Wood, and then I'd really like to thank the committee for the Distinguished Lecture Committee for choosing a proposal from somebody without a single gray hair. I'm still young enough. But I was thinking maybe it's a baldness thing, that baldness can make you distinguished as well as gray, so I fit the bill in that regard. They told me before this lecture that I needed makeup because my head was too shiny, so I hope I don't punish you with my shiny head. I'm sorry for that. But I also like to thank the Grace A. Tanner Center for Human Values for sponsoring this, and of course the Speech and Presentation Center. They're the ones that helped me put this slideshow together, so if you like what you see visually today, this is what they've done. Today, my plan today is to talk to you about some of the new project I'm working on with Dr. Barton is we're analyzing the patterns that have emerged over the last several decades with regards to public apology. And some of the patterns that we're looking at who's apologizing, what context they come from. Are they politicians, religious figures, corporations, celebrities, athletes, you name it. If they're a human being, they're in trouble these days. And so we're analyzing that. We're looking at whether gender is a factor in terms of how they apologize, whether the offense makes a difference. So if they're engaged in sex or infidelity, racism or bigotry, deception, drugs and alcohol, inappropriate comments, whether those things make a difference as well. So that's what I hope to do today, is to illustrate some of the strategies that people have been using over time, over the last several decades, and give you audio and video illustrations to demonstrate what's happening there. But the first reason why so what's the reason why we study public apology? Apart from the entertainment value of it, is number one, it's pervasive. And you can see, you can see a handful of the people that have been in trouble over the years, some prominent figures that you'll probably recognize. Walmart, yes, we'll get to that one. Yeah, and you know that guy, right? Yes, the Pope's in trouble too. And let's not forget Mike Tyson and the ear-biting situation. Okay? So they're obviously pervasive. They're happening day to day. In fact, even yesterday, Serena Williams is in trouble for screaming at the ump at the U.S. Open. So that, I mean, every day. Okay? I'd like to provide you some of the most compelling evidence I can as to why this is so pervasive. YouTube hits. Okay? Isn't that how we measure something's popularity these days? Michael Vick's apology, you can see the numbers there with Chris Brown, Christian Bale, and Jesse Jackson. Okay? This was kind of disheartening to me because I was wondering, why are these more popular than regular news? For example, the tsunami, well, thankfully, the tsunami had more hits. It had 18 million hits. Then we had Obama's speech on the death of bin Laden that generated 3.5 million hits. And then Osama's State of the Union address. What's that? Obama's State... I don't know where this is coming from. Okay, but his State of the Union address generated 671,000. Okay? So additionally, apart from the pervasiveness of it, there are a couple of other reasons. We know that face is an important commodity in our lives, that our reputations are important to us. It can impact our self-esteem. People communicate to us what they think, they think we are, and we gather our identities from that. So if people think we're weird or we're bald or whatever it may be, they communicate that to us and it establishes our identity. Okay? Another thing is it affects our relationships. You guys are in college, a lot of you, so you know that your image directly affects your ability to get in relationships and to maintain relationships. You know, we've all seen that guy that we're like, I don't know how he's ever going to end up with a girlfriend. It's kind of sad to make those assumptions, but it's the reality of life that our image dictates the relationships that we have. It also impedes our opportunities for success. So just to illustrate this last one, let me give you an example. When I was applying for work after I finished my doctorate at the University of Missouri, I was really nervous about coming out here to SUU to interview. My advisor said to me, well, they probably narrowed it from 20 or 30 down to 3 that they're going to bring out here. So obviously they like you on paper. They think you're qualified. Now they just want to see if they can stand your personality. And that was kind of illuminating for me because it made me realize, oh my gosh, I'm either going to get this job or not get this job based on whether or not these people think I'm a freak. And that was stressful because, to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I am or not. Okay? In terms of the analysis, we call it apologia. A lot of people don't know the distinction between apology and apologia. Apology is when you take responsibility for what you've done. Okay? Apologia is the broad range of strategies that you use to get out.